Charting Toward Intimacy covers mature topics. Listener discretion is advised. What if you can't get pregnant because of infertility, maybe you're past menopause, or you're currently pregnant? Does it still matter how sex ends, and particularly the male ejaculation? In this episode, we are going to unpack the church teaching that often feels very confusing. It feels very technical, even nitpicky or irrelevant. But behind it lies a very powerful vision of love, union, and really the language of the body, if we're using theology of the body terms. So let's get started. Welcome to Charting Toward Intimacy, the podcast for Catholic women that helps you improve your sex life, strengthen your marriage, and embrace God's design for love. My name is Ellen, and let's get started. Okay, so why does it matter how sex ends if pregnancy is not possible, right? So I get this question actually a lot, but I really specifically got someone a while ago that reached out and said, hey, could you do a podcast episode on this? Like if I'm pregnant, if I'm postmenopausal, if I'm infertile, if a woman's had a hysterectomy, like why does it have to end? PIV is a common terminology, but basically, why does it need to end with the man ejaculating into the woman's vagina? And here's the thing is I really get that this teaching can feel overly technical. It can feel like very much like, here's the exact box that you have to fit in. But this is not simply a technical requirement of the church. This teaching is rooted in deep theology and deep symbolism, and it's rooted in the essence of what a sacrament even is. So let's talk about it. Here's the straight up church teaching. Each sexual act must be ordered toward procreation. So this means that it needs to be open to life in its structure, even if life doesn't result. So Catechism 2366 and 2367, those are two great ones to just like read the straight up teaching on it. 2366 quotes Humanae Vitae, which is an encyclical written by Pope Paul VI. Humanae Vitae 11 says, it is necessary that each and every marriage act remain ordered per se to the procreation of human life, meaning that it's not about whether pregnancy is possible. It is about whether the act respects the design God built into the body. This is where my theology of the body background comes in. Theology of the body is just like rich with this. Your body tells us a story. Our body tells us a story. Our body is meant for a story. Sex is a conversation, and our body tells us how that conversation goes, right? Like the male body doesn't make sense without the female body, right? We have these parts that like don't really do anything if they're not for sex. Okay, so what then does ordered toward procreation mean? The church does not require fertility. There is nothing in the Catechism that says, in order to be a Catholic family, you have to have one or more children. Like that's ridiculous. The church does not require fertility. The church requires that sex ends with, penile ejaculation inside the vagina, because that is the act designed by God to bring new life. Humanae Vitae, paragraph 12, says the unitive significance and the procreative significance are both inherent to the marriage act and are not to be broken by man on its own initiative. And so what that's meaning is like when you look at sex, we see this bodily unity that happens. And in that bodily unity is that possibility for procreation. So those two things, they go together, right? Without the bodily unity, we don't have the possibility of procreation. So they go together. Okay, so why does this matter even when pregnancy can't happen? This is like some straight up theology of the body stuff right here. Sex is not just a physical act. Sex is a sacramental sign. Meaning, like, what's a sacramental? A sacramental is a sacrament, actually. Let's talk about a sacrament, not a sacramental right now. A sacrament is a visible sign of an invisible grace from God. So baptism, we have the visible sign of water being poured over our body as the visible sign of being washed clean. And there is the invisible grace of being washed clean from sin. So a sacramental sign, the sacramental sign of sex, is a visible sign of the invisible gift of self. Sex is the only bodily act. I'm going to say that again. Sex is the only bodily act that expresses total gift of self between, like two fallen humans. There is another act that expresses total gift of self, and that is Jesus giving himself to us in the Eucharist. And again, what's happening there is that one person is receiving another person into themselves. All right, so sex is this bodily act that expresses total gift of self. The husband gives himself entirely, including his fertility, right? The wife receives him entirely, including that potential for life, even if that potential cannot be fulfilled in the moment. But it's the fully receiving of the other person. Like, sex is a free, total, fruitful, faithful gift of self, full gift of self. It is not full if we are like blocking off that procreative possibility. So it is not a full gift of self if ejaculation is happening anywhere other than inside of the vagina, right? That's like wrapping up a birthday present, giving it to someone, having them unwrap it, and then saying, sorry, you actually can't keep it. I'm just going to show it to you, but I'm going to put it over here on the shelf, and like you're not even allowed to use it. Can you imagine how terrible that would be? I'm recording this a few days before my birthday, and I know what my birthday present is. I'm getting a Pixel watch, and I'm super excited. And like, I'm just imagining my husband wrapping up my present, giving it to me, and then me unwrapping my present and going, oh, this is my Pixel watch. I'm so excited. And then him going, oh, sorry, you actually, you can't have it. I'm going to put it up on this shelf in our bedroom, and it's just going to sit up here. You're not allowed to like wear it and connect it to your phone or anything like that. Like, I gave you the gift, but now I'm going to put it here up on the shelf. Like, that's ridiculous, right? Now no one's going to use the watch. That's horrible. That's what's happening in sex. Like with coitus interruptus, that's like really very much what's happening with sex, right? Like intercourse is beginning and then not completing. But like with any kind of sexual act where intentionally ejaculation is happening outside of the vagina, like it's this weird, like, here's a gift, but I'm not going to give it to you. Like, you can't actually have it. Okay, so infertility, pregnancy, menopause, these are not like these are natural, non-sinful states of the body. They do not remove the meaning of sex, but they invite us to deepen our understanding of it. So sex that is infertile by a natural means, it remains meaningful because it imitates the life-giving love of God, even if no life results. Like that's what sex is. So, and another way to say this is a sacrament is valid because of what it is, not because of what it causes. Like, God is God because he's God, not because of what he does. All right, so let's land the plane. The church is not asking us here for like a technicality. It's not asking us to just like make sure that we're checking this box and whatever. Like, the church is asking us for integrity of the act. God designed sex to speak the language of the body, which is total self-gift. God designed sex as a way for us to image the love that God has for us. And how does God love us? God loves us to the cross in giving his full gift of self to us. When we change the act of sex, we're changing the meaning. It is no longer speaking the language that God designed it to speak. In Love and Responsibility, John Paul II, at the time he wrote it when he was Carol Wojtyła, but he says to use the sexual faculties in a way that contradicts their structure is to lie with the body. Like, our body is designed for this life-giving gift of self. And when we're twisting it up, we're lying. Okay, so again, this teaching is not about policing your sex life. It is about protecting the sacred meaning of sex, like protecting the depth of theology that we have. So if this is something that you struggle with, I just really want to encourage you to just sit with the beauty of what God is asking of us and what God created for us in sex. That sex is not just about pleasure. Sex is about this real union and this ability to co-create with him, the potential for this co-creative ability. Like, this is a body-soul union that's potentially life-giving. And that's just like, it's just incredible. And I want to encourage you to just sit with that and ask God to reveal it more to you in prayer. Thanks so much for listening. If you're ready to stop feeling confused or discouraged about sex and finally understand how God designed your body for real, beautiful pleasure, you need to check out the Orgasm Course for Catholic Women. I'll teach you the tools and the mindset you need to experience the intimacy you were made for, all deeply rooted in Catholic Church teaching. Head over to vinesinfullbloom.com/orgasm, and I'll see you inside.